Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about a legendary figure through the ages, Guiguzi. When it comes to him, you might feel he's wrapped in mystery. This man rarely ever stepped out of the mountains, yet in all the great upheavals of the spring and autumn and warring states period, you can still see his shadow. Some say he was like the hidden hand behind the curtain, moving the chessboard of history step by step. So, who was Guiguzi? He was a Taoist recluse, a military strategist, and the founding master of the school of diplomacy. He had the foresight of a statesman, the cunning of a master tactician, and could be called a living encyclopedia. Later generations honored him as the saint of strategy, and the place where he lived in seclusion, Mount Yunmen, was praised as China's first ancient military academy. And this academy, the students who walked out of it were no ordinary people. Just listen to a few names and you'll be stunned. Su Qin, Zhang Yi, San Bin, Peng Wan, Shang Yang, Li Xi, Lu Buwei, Bai Qi, Wan Jian. Each of them alone was enough to shift the balance of history. Some became powerful generals, some rose as great ministers, some dominated the world of diplomacy. And almost all of them came from the same teacher, Guiguzi. A mysterious birth, the story of Guiguzi was legendary from the very beginning. One tale says his mother was a woman whose love was opposed by her family. By chance, she ate a grain of rice left at a tomb, and soon after conceived him. Since the rice grew beside a grave, and the child was born in a cave, people called him Guiguzi, meaning the master from the Ghost Valley. Another, even more fantastic tale says, long ago, Mount Yunmen suffered a terrible drought. A farmer once saved a tiny golden fish, who turned out to be the Dragon King's daughter. To repay him, the Dragon Princess secretly dug through to the sea and brought water to the mountains. But this angered the Dragon King, who punished her by turning her into a spring and the farmer into a mountain ridge. Later, she was reborn as the daughter of a wealthy family, and after eating the divine grain, she gave birth to Guiguzi. It sounds like myth, as if this child came into the world with destiny written upon him. The gifted child Guiguzi was born unusual. On his forehead, he had 4 symmetrical moles, called the stars of Ghost constellation, said to mark someone destined for greatness. As a youth, he met a reclusive sage, who taught him astronomy, geography, military strategy, and divination. After 9 years of study, the master passed away, leaving him with a bamboo scroll full of blank pages. To others it was empty, but at night Guiguzi could see strange symbols glowing upon it. This was why later he seemed to know all things, mastering both heaven and earth. But fate wasn't always kind. Before his mother died, she told him, "My child, if you ever miss me, dig a well by my grave. In its waters, you will see my reflection." Guiguzi did so, and that well still exists today, known as the Well of Guigu. He later used the water's changes to predict the weather. Truly, his life read like a fantasy novel. Students who shook the world. If Guiguzi himself was a hermit in the mountains, then his disciples were the storms that shook the world. The most famous were San Bin and Peng Wan. Once, Guiguzi tested them. "Find a way to make me come out of this house." Peng Wan tried brute methods: fire, water, force. San Bin thought differently. "I can't think of a way to make you come out, but I can make you walk in from outside." Guiguzi, puzzled, stepped outside. San Bin immediately bowed. "Master, you've already come out." In that moment, the difference in wisdom was clear. Peng Wan later went to serve in the state of Wei. Guiguzi divined his fate. "You will rise when you meet sheep, but perish when you meet horses." Indeed, after being given a dish of lamb at a royal banquet, Peng Wan rose to high office, becoming a great general. But his jealousy ruined him. Fearing San Bin would surpass him, he tricked San into Wei, falsely accused him, and had him mutilated, his feet cut off, his face tattooed. Most would have been broken forever. But San Bin remembered the small pouch his master had given him, containing only 3 words: feign madness. Pretending to be insane, he survived, escaped to Qi, and there, through brilliance, helped Tianji and Ting Wei of Qi defeat Wei in the famous Battle of Meiling. With the cunning stratagem of reducing campfires, he lured Peng Wan into a trap. And as foretold, penguin died on Mailing Road meeting horse and perishing. Guiguzi has seen it all long ago. Masters of diplomacy, another pair of disciples, were Su Qin and Wang Yi, twin stars in the history of diplomacy. Su Qin persuaded 6 states to unite against Qin, wearing the seals of 6 nations at his belt, basking in supreme glory. Yet his fate was rise first, fall later. He was finally executed by dismemberment. Zhang Yi, on the other hand, was scorned early on, yet later in Qin, he triumphed with his horizontal alliances, helping Qin dominate, and rose to prime minister. Just as Guiguzi foretold, one would flourish then decline, the other decline first then flourish. The vanishing master, while his disciples stirred the world and became household names, Guiguzi himself vanished quietly back into the mists of the mountains. It's said that Su Qin once brought a priceless chessboard back to Yunmeng Mountain, hoping for one last game with his master. But when he reached the peak, all he found was wilderness, fog swirling endlessly. The master had disappeared, as if everything had been but a dream. Later generations said Guiguzi was not merely a man, but a guardian of the way between heaven and earth, a sage who came to guide the world into peace. His wisdom and strategies were passed down through the ages, still shining today. Think about it. Guiguzi spent his life almost never leaving the mountains, yet his students moved nations. He remained hidden, yet truly shaped history. Born in mystery, lived as a legend, and passed into myth. Some say he was a sage among men. Some say he was a traveler from the immortal realms. Either way, he truly deserves the title a legendary figure through the ages. This is Guiguzi, a hermit who influenced an entire era. Some call him the saint of strategy, others call him Master Wang Chang. But in your heart, what do you think he was? Would you like me to make this more like a narration script, shorter sentences, stronger rhythm, and more emotional pauses, so it reads like a documentary or a short video voiceover?